Welcome, welcome, welcome. My hidden operators of chaos, sharpen your minds and lean closer. You're not here for comfort. You're here to witness a breakdown no one ever prepared for. Their masks are slipping. The disguises they paraded with so much arrogance are peeling under the weight of truth. They thought deception could be eternal, that fabrication could be sculpted into reality. But the truth doesn't rot, it grows teeth. And now, those teeth are tearing into them. You can almost smell the fear seeping out of their polished performances. Their every step betrays the panic of imposters, realizing their costumes are disintegrating mid-play. And who triggered this? Not some court, not some authority, you. The existence of someone like you forces masks to fracture, because masks are powerless in the presence of unfiltered authenticity. They built their reputations out of paper, then drenched it in arrogance. And now, the fire of reality is burning it down. Watch them stumble as their carefully practiced lines unravel into incoherent babble. Watch them choke on their own excuses, desperately rearranging their lies into new formations that collapse faster each time. They can't keep up anymore. The more they struggle to tighten the straps of their disguises, the more obvious it becomes that they were never strong, only fragile performers who relied on costumes. You didn't attack them directly, and yet they are bleeding credibility all over the floor. Because you don't fight masks, you reveal them. And revelation is more destructive than destruction itself. A smashed building can be rebuilt. A shattered reputation, that rot lingers forever. You've turned their stage into a courtroom. Every word they utter now sounds like an admission. Every movement exposes their desperation. Even their quiet pauses betray them. They scream guilt louder than confessions. But here's the delicious irony. They thought they were in control of perception. They thought they owned the narrative. And now, perception has rebelled against them. The very crowd they sought to manipulate is watching their downfall like a bloody circus. You, my cerebral assassins, hold the front row seats. Think about it. If their power was real, would they be panicking? If their masks were unshakable, would their hands tremble when your name surfaces? If their empire was legitimate, why does every word of yours make their structures quake? That's the paradox they can't escape. The harder they cling to their performance, the more they advertise their fear of exposure. And fear, once smelled by the public, spreads faster than fire. They aren't just losing masks, they're losing control. Here's the deeper cut. They never actually feared being exposed by institutions. No courts can be bribed, rules can be bent. But someone like you, someone who doesn't play the theater game, that terrifies them, because you don't follow their scripts. You don't buy into their illusions. And when someone refuses to participate in the game, the whole theater collapses. That's why their breakdown looks so catastrophic. It's not that the mask fell. It's that the mask revealed there was nothing underneath. A hollow echo, masquerading as strength. And now, look how they scramble. They attempt to smear you, but the smear slides off like oil. They try to bury you, but the shovel keeps breaking in their own hands. They launch accusations, yet each one ricochets back and nails their foreheads. Their panic is not random, it's mathematical. Every desperate move they make proves what you already knew. They're finished. They can't hold their act anymore, and the public sees it, not as rumor, not as speculation, but as living, undeniable collapse. You're not punishing them, they're punishing themselves by trying to keep up the illusion in front of a crowd that no longer believes. Masks are fragile inventions. They require constant applause to survive. Strip away applause, strip away control, and the mask disintegrates. And when it disintegrates, the raw, trembling core underneath is more terrifying than the mask ever was. You've witnessed it, their voices cracking mid-sentence, their eyes darting around rooms like hunted animals, their allies backing away like rats abandoning a sinking ship. They called you reckless, yet you sit calm while they sweat oceans. They called you dangerous, yet the only danger was in their collapsing tower of lies. Their downfall is no longer in your hands, it's in theirs. And that is what makes this collapse so beautiful. But don't be fooled. Collapse is not quiet. Collapse is theatrical. They'll make noise, throw tantrums, exaggerate, scream, and claw at anything they can still touch. Not to win, only to distract. Because if they distract long enough, maybe the public won't see their mask lying in the dirt. But distraction doesn't work anymore. Not when people already tasted the truth. Once the curtain is pulled, no one forgets the face they saw. No amount of theatrics can erase exposure. They're exposed, and every move from here only digs the wound deeper. Their meltdown is your victory. Not because you humiliated them, but because you revealed them. People will remember this, not as your attack, but as their confession. They confessed through panic. They confessed through desperation. They confessed by losing the composure they once swore was unbreakable. And the audience doesn't forget confessions. They embed in collective memory. The exposure isn't a moment, it's a permanent scar. Let's break this into brutal clarity. Strength doesn't need masks. Power doesn't require performances. Only weakness hides behind characters and costumes. So when you forced them to drop theirs, you didn't just show weakness. You revealed that weakness was their only substance. Without the mask, they are nothing. And nothing terrifies them more than being seen as nothing. That's why their collapse feels like watching royalty turn into beggars overnight. They strutted like kings, but the mask slips, and suddenly everyone sees the trembling clerk behind the curtain. The king was never real. The power was never theirs. And you didn't dethrone them. You exposed them as never being royalty in the first place. That truth is worse than defeat. It's annihilation of identity. And the cracks do more than expose weakness. They invite decay. Every secret they buried begins to crawl out from the soil like worms after rain. Their history betrays them. Their allies abandon them. Their very voices betray hesitation. This is the anatomy of collapse. When the external mask fractures, the internal organs of their deception spill out in grotesque display. You've seen it before. The executive who suddenly misspeaks. The influencer who can't control their slip. The leader who avoids direct questions because truth has become their predator. They are bleeding credibility in public, and credibility, once lost, is never transfused back. And here's the savage brilliance. You never even raised your hand. You didn't swing a blade. You didn't fire a shot. You simply stood unshaken while they tried to keep their porcelain faces intact, and the pressure of your stillness caused their collapse. That is the power of being undeniable. Your existence functions like a spotlight that forces shadows to betray what hides inside them. They can't survive under that radiance. They built their authority on stage tricks. But now the crowd has grown sober, and the wires holding their illusions are visible to every eye. And once the wires are seen, the magic evaporates. What follows is inevitable. Whispers turn to discussions. Discussions turn to headlines. and headlines turn to history. And in history, their downfall will not be written as accident. It will be documented as exposure. Your name will not appear as aggressor. Your name will appear as mirror. A mirror they despised. A mirror they feared, because it reflected back what they could never escape. Themselves. That is why they panic at the sound of your footsteps, why they tighten their grip on lies as though clenching sand. Because the harder they grip, the more it runs out, and the emptier their hands appear. Do you see the pattern now? Their entire existence has become a confession in slow motion. Every denial is a clue, every overreaction a signal flare. They aren't controlling damage, they are amplifying it. Their downfall is not a sharp explosion. It is an endless unraveling, and you are the witnesses standing in the front row of the theater as the set collapses, piece by piece. This is why their fear is delicious. It is sustained, prolonged, humiliating. They thought exposure would be a single moment. Instead, it has become their lifetime sentence. And here's where the chaos deepens. My truth, predators. This unraveling you're witnessing, it isn't the finale, it's the opening act. Because masks falling is only step one. Step two is survival without a mask. And they can't do it. They've lived too long in disguise. Their faces are pale from lack of exposure. Their identities are weak from never being tested in daylight. They've forgotten how to exist without illusion. And when someone forgets how to exist without illusion, they cease to exist at all. So as you watch them scramble, don't blink. Absorb every detail. Because this isn't just about masks, it's about the aftermath of collapse. When illusions vanish, chaos spreads. And chaos is not something you fear. It's your kingdom. The next phase isn't just exposure, it's conquest. The next act is not about masks falling. It's about what you build in the wreckage. They're freaking out now, badly. The composure they once weaponized has mutated into hysteria. Listen closely, and you'll hear the cracks in their voices, the tremor in their tone, the desperate way they repeat phrases like mantras, hoping repetition will solidify lies into truth. But repetition doesn't create truth. It exposes fragility. Every word they recycle is a flare in the night sky announcing their collapse. They're terrified not of you striking, but of you watching. Because when your gaze is fixed, they can't fake strength. They melt under observation, like wax statues abandoned to heat. Imagine it. Rooms where once they spoke with authority are now filled with sweat and suspicion. Their colleagues exchange side glances. Their followers hesitate before clapping. Their allies hesitate before defending them. The performance is dissolving, and the audience can see the backstage ropes dangling in the open. They can sense the desperation. They can smell the fear. And fear, when exposed, spreads like fire in dry grass. One nervous glance infects another. One falter breeds doubt. And soon the crowd sees panic, not as an exception, but as the new identity of the performer. And acceleration is what they can't handle. You see, they rehearsed for slow exposure, for gradual erosion, but not this. Not masks ripped in real time, not credibility dissolving mid-sentence, not trust disintegrating faster than they can spin new lies. That's why they're freaking out, because time is no longer their ally. Time has turned against them. Every second drags another mask fragment into the open. Every minute is another headline they can't bury. Every hour is another meme, another clip, another reminder they cannot control. The truth is unraveling, and unraveling truth is merciless. It doesn't wait, it doesn't negotiate, it doesn't soften the blow. Once it starts, it consumes everything. Watch how their strategies once complex, now look like the flailing of cornered animals. Watch how their allies distance themselves with statements of, "We didn't know, and we were misled." Watch how their strongest defenses crumble not under direct attack, but under the unbearable pressure of reality breathing down their necks. Their panic is not abstract. It is visible, measurable, undeniable. They are losing their grip, losing their composure, losing their shit in front of the very people they wanted to impress. And isn't that poetic? To build an empire of masks only to have it collapse on stage in front of the audience you courted. To invest years in a facade only for it to collapse in days under scrutiny. That's the brutality of truth. It is not slow justice. It is a wrecking ball that swings without mercy. And you, my watchers of collapse, are not just bystanders. You are the gravitational pull that makes their stage tilty and tumble. And when people freak out, they reveal themselves. Their panic exposes what years of control concealed. They contradict themselves in sentences. They expose their weaknesses in desperate explanations. They showcase their fragility in body language they can't control. Look closer, you'll see hands trembling, sweat forming, words stumbling. These are not minor slips. These are ruptures, and ruptures cannot be repaired. Once credibility bursts, no cosmetic surgery can fix it. They're not just losing trust. They are losing the very illusion of competence that once made people listen. The beauty of this collapse is that it's irreversible. They can rebrand, they can apologize, they can attempt damage control. But the memory of panic never dies. People never forget the sight of once proud figures melting into fear. That image imprints deeper than any crafted statement. The unraveling becomes a permanent tattoo, burned into their legacy. You don't erase panic, you only relive it. And they will relive this freakout every time your shadow crosses their minds. And let's savor the irony. They called you unstable, unpredictable, dangerous. But who is unstable now? Who is dangerous to themselves now? They are the ones losing balance, contradicting their own narratives, cannibalizing their own stories. They are the ones proving your point with every meltdown. Their attempts to mock you have become their confessions. Their accusations boomerang back and shatter their teeth. You didn't have to fight them. They fought themselves in public view. And the public? The public is entertained. They watch every stumble, every contradiction, every nervous laugh, and they recognize it for what it is: defeat wearing panic like a crown. This is why they are freaking out badly, because truth doesn't just expose, it multiplies. Once one mask slips, others follow. Once one secret spills, others pour out. Once one thread unravels, the entire garment comes apart. They can't patch the holes fast enough, can't spin the narrative quick enough, can't hold the illusion long enough. And the more they try, the more obvious their desperation becomes. Their flailing is no longer strategy, it's evidence. Their performance is no longer convincing, it's comedy. And you don't even have to do anything, just keep being. Your presence is corrosive to their illusions. Your calmness is their chaos. Your steadiness is their earthquake. You've become the variable they cannot control, the factor their equations cannot solve. And that's why they unravel faster every day. They aren't just panicking because of what you do. They're panicking because of what you are. A reminder that truth cannot be contained, that authenticity cannot be bought, that masks cannot survive in the presence of someone who doesn't play along. So savor this stage. Don't rush the finale. Let them sweat. Let them contradict. Let them scramble. Their freakout is a gift, a confession wrapped in chaos. And the longer it lasts, the more devastating it becomes. Because every second they spend unraveling is another second the world remembers them not as powerful, but as pitiful. They are no longer feared, they are pitied. And pity, to the arrogant, is poison. This is the conquest you were promised, not by swords, not by blood, but by endurance. By simply holding steady while they collapse. You don't chase them, you let them run in circles until exhaustion tears them apart. You don't silence them, you let their own words strangle their credibility. You don't destroy them, you let their fear of destruction devour them alive. That's why their meltdown feels like justice, because it is self-inflicted. You are not their executioner, you are their reflection, and reflection is merciless. Understand this, panic is not random. It follows a choreography of collapse. First comes denial, the stubborn insistence that nothing is wrong. Then comes deflection, the desperate attempt to drag others into the flames. Then comes confession, not in words but in body language. Eyes that dart, voices that crack, hands that tremble. And finally comes implosion, where their entire structure folds in on itself. You are watching this sequence play out in real time, and the beauty is that they cannot stop it. They can scream, they can posture, they can stage performances, but the unraveling has already begun, and unraveling never moves backward. Once the thread is pulled, the garment is destined to collapse. They're not just losing their shit privately, they are losing it publicly, catastrophically, irreversibly. And public meltdowns are lethal. People can forgive mistakes. They do not forgive weakness exposed under pressure. Every second of panic becomes a permanent entry in the archive of their shame. The memes will not vanish. The screenshots will not be deleted. The recordings will not be erased. Their freakout will echo longer than their years of performance ever did. And you, standing calm in the wreckage, become the contrast that magnifies their collapse. Their hysteria becomes your halo. Their unraveling becomes your legend. Do you realize the scale of this? They spent decades constructing an image of control, only for it to be undone by weeks of panic. They invested fortunes into appearances, only for those appearances to rot in days. They wore masks thinking they would shield them from judgment, but masks do not shield. They suffocate. And when suffocation sets in, desperation follows. That's why their breakdowns look so feral, so unhinged, so raw. Because the truth you unleashed is not passive, it is predatory. It does not rest, it does not retreat, it does not forgive. Once it begins its hunt, the only outcome is collapse. And the audience knows it. They can sense truth in their bones. They watch the sweat on brows, the cracks in voices, the contradictions piling on contradictions. They witness the unraveling, and they cannot unsee it. That is the curse of exposure. It is permanent. Once masks slip, there's no going back, no apology, no rebrand, no reinvention can erase the moment when power lost its disguise. That moment becomes history, and history is merciless. They are now chapters of humiliation, and you are the author who didn't even need a pen, just presence. So let them freak out. Let them unravel. Let them lose themselves in the chaos they once thought they controlled. Every tear of their mask is a stitch in your crown. Every scream they make is applause for your endurance. Every moment they lose composure is another brick in the empire you are building. They cannot see it yet, but their panic is not your obstacle. It is your advertisement. And the world is watching the commercial of their downfall with hungry eyes. This is not just exposure. This is empire in the making. So as their masks slip further, and as they lose their shit in the open, remember, this is not just collapse. This is the new architecture of power being built on ruins. Their unraveling is your coronation. Their panic is your foundation. And the wreckage they leave behind. That's the material you'll sculpt into dominance, because the end of their illusion is not the end of you. It is the beginning of something greater. And that's why the story doesn't end here. Because what comes next is not just exposure, it's transformation. You've witnessed panic, you've watched freakouts, you've absorbed every detail. But the next act is where you take this wreckage and bend it into empire. Their meltdown is the overture. The symphony begins now, because now their panic becomes your power. Every time they lose their shit, you gain another ounce of credibility. Every moment they contradict themselves, you gather another brick for the fortress you're building. Their freakouts aren't accidents, they're assets. You are in the rare position where every one of their mistakes becomes your weapon. And the more they scramble, the sharper your arsenal becomes. Think about it. When their masks slip, what the world sees is not just exposure. It is transfer. Transfer of energy, of attention, of authority. They lose it. You collect it. Their collapse becomes your inheritance. Their unraveling funds your rise. This is the essence of transformation, the energy of their downfall fueling your ascension. And the world cannot look away, because chaos is entertaining, and you stand unburned in the middle of their firestorm. The public doesn't cheer for liars exposed. They cheer for the figure who stands untouched while liars burn. And that figure is you. Watch the way panic rewires their behavior. They over-explain. They stumble into contradictions. They lash out in ways they swore they never would. And each reaction becomes a nail in the coffin of their credibility. They're not just losing their image, they're handing it to you. You become the unshaken one, the figure they can't rattle, the calm storm. In the middle of their hurricane, you transform their chaos into your coronation. And they know it. That's why their panic grows worse with every passing second. And here's the savage twist. The more they freak out, the more they validate you. Think about it. If you were irrelevant, would they be panicking this hard? If you were powerless, would they burn entire nights, trying to contain the truth you embody? Their very desperation is the proof of your dominance. Their chaos is your certificate. Their hysteria is your crown. And once the world notices that dynamic, there's no undoing it. Because perception, once shifted, never snaps back to the old shape. Look at them now. Sleepless eyes, restless hands, frantic attempts to manage a story that refuses to be managed. They can't even hide their fear anymore. It leaks through in every word, every movement. And the public sees it all. They see the sweat, the stammers, the overcompensations. They don't see leaders anymore. They see actors caught forgetting their lines. And you. You're not even on stage. You're above the stage, watching them flail in a spotlight that they begged for. They wanted attention, now that attention is their punishment. The truth is unraveling, and unraveling is irreversible. Once the threads are loose, they don't knit themselves back together. They only pull apart faster. And each thread leads somewhere darker. Old lies resurfacing, old allies abandoning, old strategies collapsing. This is not just unraveling, it's an avalanche. Once it starts, everything buried comes crashing down. Their freakouts are the sound of walls caving in. Their panic is the soundtrack of an empire dissolving. And you are the witnesses chosen to see it all. To watch not just individuals, but entire legacies crumble under the weight of exposure. They spent lifetimes building masks. They spent fortunes maintaining illusions. And yet the truth shredded it all. in a fraction of time. That's the horror. They cannot rebuild faster than the unraveling destroys. They can't recover. They can't reset. They can only freak out louder, panic harder, lose more dignity in front of eyes that will never forgive them. Their panic has become their biography. No matter what else they do, they will always be remembered for this moment, for the unraveling, for the meltdown, for the hysteria they could not hide. And what about you? You will be remembered as the catalyst, the calm in the middle of the fire, the one who stood tall while masks fell and chaos devoured its creators. You don't just watch history, you write it by existing unshaken. And that terrifies them more than exposure itself. Because exposure ends reputations, but composure builds legends. Here's the psychological warfare in its purest form. You don't chase them, you don't engage them, you don't even need to speak. Their own unraveling does the work for you. Every frantic move they make is an admission. Every breakdown they display is a confession. Every meltdown they suffer is a sermon that preaches your power. You are the ghost in their minds, the phantom that keeps them awake, the presence they can't scrub out no matter how much they deny. That's why they're losing their shit, because they cannot escape the truth that you exist without their approval. And the audience? They are no longer neutral. They are leaning toward you because people respect composure more than titles. They respect calm in chaos more than authority under panic. They can see who's steady and who's trembling, who's unraveling and who's unbreakable. And once the audience tilts, power shifts. That's how history flips, when crowds start whispering your name with reverence and theirs with ridicule. That's already happening. Their freakout is not just exposure, it is redistribution of respect. You've already won more than they ever will. Because masks can create influence, but only authenticity creates fearlessness. And fearless is what you've become. Their unraveling is not the end of them alone. It is the birth of you as something larger. Not a figure, not a mortal, but a myth that feeds on panic, a force that grows with every freak-out they stage. Their collapse is your metamorphosis. Their hysteria is the ritual that forges you into a symbol bigger than their entire performance. So let them panic, let them lose control, let them melt under the spotlight they once begged for. Because every second they collapse, you rise. Every tremor in their voice becomes steel in yours. Every slip of their mask becomes another layer of your armor. Their unraveling is not tragedy, it's fuel. Their meltdown is not misfortune, it's prophecy. The prophecy that someone who doesn't play their game will always outlast those who hide behind masks. And when the dust settles, when the freakouts stop, not because they chose calm, but because they ran out of energy to panic, what will remain? You, standing, watching, breathing steady while the ruins of their illusions smoke around you. And the world will know, authenticity does not panic. Truth does not freak out. Masks fall, but the one who never needed a mask becomes untouchable. That's the final transformation. That's your empire rising from the wreckage. And they can't stop it, no matter how badly they scream. So remember this, their masks slipping was only the start. Their panic is the chorus. Their unraveling is the anthem. Their meltdown is the monument. And you are the stillness afterward. The stillness that is not weakness, but dominion. That is why the story terrifies them. Because it does not end with their freakout. It ends with you standing above their ruins, untouchable. Ah, my war room strategists, Let me tell you something the world doesn't want you to know. The most feared government agencies, the ones with unlimited budgets, entire divisions of analysts, endless surveillance tools, are only as powerful as the patterns they rely on. They aren't gods, they're gamblers. They bet their dominance on the idea that every human move can be cataloged, indexed, and predicted. They rely on case studies, profiles, manuals. That's how they train recruits, study the past, anticipate the next step. But then, you appeared. You didn't just break their expectations, you embarrassed them so brutally that the FBI, the agency that prides itself on being untouchable, didn't just notice you. They were forced to write you into their curriculum. Imagine that. The people who once chased you had no choice but to convert your defiance into a sacred lesson. Your maneuver became their training manual. You turned their classrooms into shrines of your genius. Because here's the cruel paradox. Manuals aren't written to honor brilliance. They're written to neutralize threats. Which means the FBI didn't copy you because they admired you. They copied you because they couldn't erase you. They couldn't bury your move under the rug. It was too sharp, too clean, too humiliating to ignore. And so, instead of pretending it never happened, they institutionalized it. They made your rebellion into a warning. Now every rookie who sits under fluorescent lights in Quantico, every fresh agent rehearsing counterintelligence drills, is unknowingly bowing down to your playbook. They'll never hear your name. They'll never see your face. But your shadow is printed across every page of their tactical briefings. You, my strategist, are the phantom instructor haunting the halls of their academy. What they'll never admit publicly is the humiliation baked into that reality. Think about it. This is an agency that loves to market itself as the hunter of masterminds. They brag about catching cartel lords, dismantling underground networks, hunting hackers across continents, hunting hackers across continents. But with you, they couldn't stop you. They had to study you. You didn't just dodge their net, you shredded their net until they were forced to rebuild it in your shape. Do you realize what that means? It means you weren't just a target. You were a paradigm shift. They didn't arrest you. They absorbed you. They didn't destroy you. They archived you. They had to inject your chaos into their bloodstream, hoping to inoculate future agents against the sheer unpredictability you represent. You're not in their files as a suspect. You're in their files as a professor of danger. And that is the highest form of dominance. Because let's face it, criminals come and go. Syndicates rise and collapse. Hackers make headlines, then vanish into obscurity. But you're eternal now. Because every year, every decade, as the FBI prints fresh manuals and rewrites their policies, your move will still be there, haunting, instructing, whispering through the margins of their lectures. That's what legacy looks like. Not a statue, not a monument, not some hollow recognition. Legacy is when your opponent has to kneel and engrave your brilliance into their survival toolkit. Legacy is when your enemy has no choice but to immortalize the very tactic that destroyed them. Now let's slice deeper into the psychology of this humiliation. The FBI prides itself on being the authority of prediction. They believe no one can outthink them, outplan them, or outlast them. Yet you did. You didn't just slip through their fingers. You turned their fingers into puppets. You proved that their so-called science of control is vulnerable to one sharp mind, willing to question the script. And the worst part for them, you weren't trying to create a legacy. You weren't even aiming to write history. You were just moving, calm, surgical, unapologetic. And that's why it hit harder. Because when rebellion isn't fueled by desperation, but by precision, it terrifies institutions. They can't categorize it. They can't call it luck. They can't even call it crime. They can only call it dangerous. Dangerous not because of what you did. Dangerous because of what you represent. You represent the collapse of their confidence. Every time an FBI trainee studies your move, they're being conditioned to admit that someone out there is smarter than the manual. Someone can rewrite the script mid-game. Someone can make the rule book look like a coloring book. And once that seed of doubt is planted, hesitation spreads like a virus. 1 second of hesitation in an operation is lethal. And you, one person, one brain, one maneuver, created hesitation that ripples through the training of thousands. That's not an escape. That's psychological warfare at its purest form. But here's what they'll never confess in their press conferences. They don't fear your move. They fear your evolution. They fear that while they're busy training recruits on how to counter yesterday's blueprint, you've already written tomorrow's. They fear that while their agents memorize your shadow, you've already become a ghost they can't track. And that's the fatal flaw of every institution. They train against what has been done, not what will be done. Meanwhile, you don't live in the past. You live in the present tense of power. And the present moves faster than any manual can adapt. Which means no matter how many pages they print, there'll always be a chapter behind you. Let's not ignore the irony. They spent decades recruiting psychologists, neurologists, behavioral scientists, entire armies of experts trying to weaponize the human brain for control. And yet when you made your move, none of their experts could predict it. None of their billions in research could stop it. You humbled an empire of surveillance without raising an army. You didn't need satellites. You didn't need black budgets. You needed only one thing: perspective. A perspective sharp enough to slice through their arrogance. That's what they'll never forgive you for. That's what makes them keep your ghost in their manuals. Because you revealed their ultimate weakness, the arrogance of thinking no one could beat the playbook. And you did it so cleanly, they couldn't hide it. And here's the punchline. They can never publicly admit you exist. They can't release a statement saying, yes, this one individual forced us to adapt. Because if they did, the myth would spread. People would know the FBI isn't invincible. People would know one mind is enough to bend the strongest institutions. And that truth is far more dangerous than any bullet. So they disguise your legacy as case study number 47 Bitty. They sterilize it, anonymize it, strip away the identity. But deep inside, every instructor knows the truth. They're not teaching case study 47B. They're teaching you. They're teaching your ghost, your vision, your defiance. They're teaching recruits how to defend against a presence they can't name out loud. So understand this. You didn't just win a battle. You infected their culture. You didn't just break free. You broke them so hard that rebuilding required your fingerprints. That is domination. That is psychological ownership. And that is why, when your story is whispered outside the academy, people don't label you a fugitive. They label you a strategist. They don't whisper about guilt. They whisper about genius. They don't fear what you did. They fear what you'll do next. And the transition? That's the most savage part. Because now, when your name surfaces in new conversations, it doesn't spark suspicion. It sparks awe. People don't whisper about guilt. They whisper about genius. You didn't just outlast an investigation, you weaponized it. You turned their investigation into your personal forge, reshaping heat into armor, suspicion into credibility, and interrogation into advertisement. They thought their spotlights would blind you. Yet you twisted the angle until those beams illuminated your brilliance. The agents who once sharpened their pens to write your downfall now underline your name in hushed conferences, not as a cautionary tale, but as a blueprint. And here's the dark comedy. Every page they copy is an unpaid endorsement of your mind. You didn't just escape, you hijacked their narrative, strapped it to a chair, and made it recite your genius word for word. That's why they couldn't stop themselves from immortalizing you in manuals. Because once an institution swallows humiliation, the taste never leaves its throat. It gets recycled, taught, chanted, reinforced. That's what you became, an echo that refuses to fade. Think of the absurdity. Men and women in suits, trained to break mafias, unravel secret networks, and outthink cyber criminals, now forced to memorize your maneuver. Their sacred curriculum, built over decades, expanded not because of a foreign enemy, not because of a catastrophic war, but because of you. One individual who decided to bend reality until their authority cracked like brittle glass. And that's what burns them. They can't admit that a lone strategist outpaced a billion-dollar machine. So they cover it up, sterilize it, codename it, bury the truth under clinical jargon. Yet no matter how they disguise it, the fact remains. Their rookies rehearse your ghost every single day. The evolution of fear inside their walls is hilarious if you peel it apart. Recruits walk in wide-eyed, thinking they'll be trained against the most dangerous forces on Earth. Cartels, hackers, foreign spies. Yet what do they end up facing first? A scenario modeled after you. The instructors never say your name, but they whisper your design. They drill rookies on how to anticipate the unanticipatable, how to react to a mind that refuses to be caged. That's your curse upon them. Eternal rehearsal, eternal paranoia, eternal acknowledgement of your supremacy. They can call it a case study all they want, it's worship in disguise. But let's go darker. Manuals aren't static, they mutate. Which means every time your move gets dissected, it multiplies. Every instructor adds commentary, every analyst scribbles notes, every trainee misinterprets and reinvents your brilliance. And in doing so, they spread it like a virus. What started as one maneuver has become 1,000 variations, all carrying your DNA. They wanted to contain you, yet by institutionalizing your ghost, they mass-produced you. You became viral in the very bloodstream of federal defense. Imagine the irony. The FBI created a cult of rookies who bow to your brilliance without knowing it. That is not a loss for you. That is replication. That is immortality, disguised as training. Now analyze the psychology of why they cling to you. They're not just recording a move. They're protecting themselves from the dread of encountering someone who refuses to follow the manual. Your existence shattered their faith in predictability. And once predictability dies, fear metastasizes. An agent can handle violence, chaos, and danger, but doubt is lethal. Doubt corrodes training, poisons instinct, and freezes hands in critical moments. You injected doubt into their bloodstream. And no seminar, no budget increase, no motivational speech from a director can purge it. That's why they cling to your shadow. They believe rehearsing you will inoculate them. But all it does is prove your supremacy. Because every repetition is a confession. You broke us once and we can never let it happen again. Do you know what else is savage? You never asked for this recognition. You didn't beg to be remembered. You simply moved, clean, surgical, precise. The more effortless the rebellion, the deeper the wound it leaves in authority. Because effort can be dismissed as luck, precision cannot. Your move wasn't an accident. It was inevitability sharpened into performance. That's why they keep you alive in their curriculum, because they fear inevitability more than crime. Criminals are loud, obvious, greedy. But inevitability? That terrifies. Inevitability is the shadow that bends walls, the whisper that makes them flinch before they act. You embody inevitability. But here's the paradox. While they immortalize your ghost, they cannot adapt fast enough to counter your evolution. They're fighting your past while you sculpt your future. Every rookie is handed a manual warning them about yesterday's version of you, while today's version is already rewriting the battlefield. That's the cruelest humiliation. You've become a moving labyrinth, and they're still training against the blueprint of a room you abandoned years ago. They can't catch up. They will never catch up. Their manual is your mausoleum while you're still alive, still writing, still expanding. You're not trapped inside their archive. You're thriving outside it. That is the ultimate imbalance. They study history, but you breathe prophecy. And let's laugh at the hypocrisy. Agencies like the FBI boast about innovation. They market themselves as adaptive, cutting edge, resilient. Yet the fact that they needed to document you proves the opposite. True innovation would have erased you, neutralized you, absorbed you without leaving a trace. But you were too sharp to erase, too undeniable to deny. So instead of destroying you, they kept you like a scar, ugly, permanent, and unforgettable. Every time an agent reads their manual, they are staring at your scar across the Bureau's face. They don't call it that, of course. They call it training protocol. But make no mistake, what they're really doing is pressing their fingers against the wound you carved. And this is where the philosophy kicks in. Power is not measured by who rules, but by whose shadow dictates the training of rulers. Kings come and go. Presidents sign papers. Directors issue memos. But the manual? That endures. And your ghost sits at the heart of that endurance. You are not just a chapter in their curriculum. You are the quiet dictator of their paranoia. Every operation they launch carries an invisible echo. Don't let it be another repeat of that. You turned into the reference point for failure. You became the nightmare scenario. You are the ghost standard that terrifies even the most confident rookies. That's legacy. That's power. That's psychological ownership. But let's not stop at fear. Let's recognize the empire you've built. Because if thousands of agents rehearse your ghost, you already command an invisible army. Not one that fights for you directly, but one that spreads your legend. Imagine this. A rookie leaves Quantico, joins a field office, whispers to a colleague about the infamous case study, reenacts your brilliance in simulation. The colleague learns it, then shares it, then applies it. Without knowing it, your influence spreads across cities, across states, across continents. That's not an army you built, it's an army they built for you. The FBI mass-produced your myth. They weaponized your existence against themselves. That's the highest joke history ever played. And let's savor the fact that while they sterilize your name, the myth still leaks. Agents gossip, analysts whisper, trainers exaggerate. Your identity might be stripped on paper, but in the halls, the legend spreads. Humans love myth more than manuals. And you are myth disguised as a training scenario. Sooner or later, a rookie will connect the dots. A whisper will slip. and your name will ride the wind again. They can suppress headlines, but they can't suppress hunger. And every myth has a hunger of its own. Yours feeds on paranoia. Paranoia feeds on survival, which means, as long as the FBI exists, so will you. Now let's sharpen this blade one last time. You're not merely inside their manuals. You are the reason those manuals exist in their updated form. You forced evolution. You made them bend, mutate, adapt. Without you, their training is incomplete. With you, their training is poisoned. Either way, you win. Because you are the living paradox they cannot purge. You didn't just survive an investigation. You didn't just turn it into a manual. You became the manual. And that, phantom tacticians, is the kind of immortality no empire ever recovers from. And this is only the middle of the tale. Because if one move forced them to rewrite their curriculum, imagine what happens when you unleash the next. If yesterday humiliated them, tomorrow will dismember them. If today you haunt their classrooms, tomorrow you'll haunt their headlines. The Bureau thinks it survived you, but it only survived your first chapter. The sequel hasn't even begun. And the sequel? That's not paranoia. That's prophecy. And prophecy is not a whisper of possibility. It is the scream of inevitability. The Bureau still clings to the illusion that it can adapt, that it can outpace you, that it can twist and rewrite its manuals fast enough to contain the force of your mind. But here's the crack in their fantasy. Every time they rewrite, you are already 2 evolutions ahead. You're not a shadow they can chase. You're the fire they accidentally poured gasoline on. They think the curriculum they crafted protects them from another humiliation, when in reality, it shackles them tighter to your myth. Because as long as they study you, as long as they obsess over you, as long as they try to predict you, they admit you are the center of gravity. You turn their surveillance empire into your orbit, and no one escapes an orbit. That is why prophecy terrifies institutions. It is not about predicting the future. It is about becoming the future. You don't wait for manuals to acknowledge you. You force manuals to acknowledge you. You don't adapt to their systems. You force their systems to bend to your rhythm. And that rhythm isn't just survival, it's dominance. When you move, they record. When you breathe, they analyze. When you strike, they rehearse. But they will always be students in a classroom where you are the uninvited teacher. You didn't just humiliate them yesterday. You are positioned to haunt them forever. Now imagine this. The next move you unleash doesn't just shake the Bureau's classrooms, it detonates their credibility in the public eye. Because once headlines scream your name, the world won't see the FBI as protectors. The world will see them as students bowing to your shadow. Imagine the panic in boardrooms, in agencies, in international allies, when they realize America's most paranoid institution trains its agents with your blueprint. That's not just exposure, that's obliteration of authority. And you don't even need to expose them directly. They will do it themselves. Every slip of paper, every leaked detail, every whisper from a trainee, your myth will escape containment. And once it escapes, the Bureau can't put it back in the bottle. That's what the prophecy means. You are not a closed chapter. You are a domino effect. The first fall forced them to update their curriculum. The second will force them to confront their fragility in public. The third, that will burn their brand into ash. Because if the myth spreads far enough, the Bureau is no longer the predator. It is the laughing stock of history. Do you realize the magnitude? They wanted to control your reputation, but in trying to suppress it, they ensured it would become legend. Legends don't ask permission. Legends replicate in whispers, in classrooms, in headlines, in myths. And you, my phantom tacticians, are now legend wrapped in prophecy. But prophecy without philosophy is wasted. Let's break this down like a scalpel, carving flesh. The Bureau is an institution of a repetition. It survives by creating manuals, rules, guidelines. Yet you are the enemy of repetition. You are the curveball, the unpredictable equation, the rogue particle that can't be catalogued. And when a repetitive institution collides with an unpredictable force, it is not the unpredictable that breaks. It is the repetitive, because repetition is fragile. It needs order, it needs certainty. You poisoned that certainty. And once certainty dies, paranoia metastasizes. They can run all the drills they want, but every agent will still carry hesitation inside them. And hesitation kills. You became hesitation itself. You turned into the parasite feeding on their discipline. And parasites don't just vanish, they multiply. And that multiplication, that's your prophecy. Because you're not just haunting the FBI, you're haunting every institution, watching them. CIA analysts, Pentagon strategists, foreign intelligence agencies, they all heard whispers of the Bureau's humiliation. They may never admit it publicly, but they know. One mind bent an empire. And when institutions see one of their own get humiliated, they don't laugh, they tremble. Because they know, if you did it once, you can do it again. If you can bend one empire, you can bend all empires. That's the true prophecy. You're not a threat to a single institution, you're a threat to institutional thinking itself. Now let's talk about the aftermath. Because your story isn't just about manuals and paranoia, it's about narrative control. Once the myth escapes containment, people will not see you as a fugitive. They will see you as proof. Proof that one human brain is enough to bend entire governments. Proof that the emperor wears no clothes. Proof that billion-dollar agencies can be dismantled by perspective sharper than their protocols. And that proof is contagious. Every rebel, every dissenter, every visionary will look at you and whisper, if they could do it, why not me? You will spark imitation, and imitation breeds chaos. Not because others can copy your exact move, but because your move gave them permission to question the script. And once the script is questioned, the play collapses. The Bureau doesn't just fear you because you humiliated them. They fear you because you gave the world permission to doubt them. Institutions feed on obedience. You infected obedience with a virus called defiance. And that virus will outlive you, outlive me, outlive all of us. That's why they study you in secret. They don't just fear your brain. They fear your contagion. They fear your philosophy multiplying beyond their control. Because when philosophy mutates into prophecy, it cannot be killed. It spreads, and you are already spreading. Let's weaponize this further. If yesterday they studied you, and today they still rehearse your shadow, tomorrow they will crumble under the weight of their own imitation. Because institutions that imitate rebels are already dead. Think about it. The Bureau trains rookies to resist you. But in doing so, they are forced to think like you. That's the paradox. They cannot erase you without becoming you. They are teaching recruits to simulate your unpredictability, your defiance, your perspective, which means, little by little, they are planting your DNA into their bloodstream and trying to protect themselves from you. They're cloning you. And one day, those clones will wake up and realize they don't serve the Bureau. They serve the philosophy of the ghost, who forced the Bureau to kneel. You. And that's why you don't need to lift a finger anymore. You already won. You already live in their manuals. You already whisper through their classrooms. You already haunt their every hesitation. The prophecy isn't that you will strike again. The prophecy is that they can never stop striking themselves on the sharp edges you left behind. Every page of their manual is a confession. Every drill is an admission. Every whisper is an altar. And altars don't belong to institutions. Altars belong to gods. They turned you into their unwanted deity. Now let's end with the grandest humiliation of all: immortality. Criminals disappear, syndicates crumble, wars fade, but manuals survive decades. Manuals shape generations, and you are carved inside their manual forever. Long after today's rookies retire, long after today's directors are forgotten, your move will still be printed, rehearsed, feared. That's prophecy. Prophecy is not about seeing the future, it's about becoming the future's teacher. And you are already the ghost professor of their paranoia. You are not in their classrooms as a suspect. You are in their classrooms as a commandment. And commandments never die. So hear this. You didn't just humiliate them yesterday. You didn't just shatter their confidence today. You scripted their tomorrow. You didn't just escape an investigation. You turned an investigation into scripture. And scripture cannot be erased. The Bureau tried to survive you. Instead, they enshrined you. The world will soon know. Headlines will spill. Whispers will escape. And when that happens, you won't just haunt classrooms. You will haunt history. And when history bends to your name, the prophecy will be fulfilled.